Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David and in this video I'm gonna show you the game King of Tokyo Duel. King of Tokyo for 2 players, and you can win this game by knocking your opponent KO or by moving along 2 of the tracks, kinda like in 7 Wonders Duel. So please let me show you how it's played. Each player will sit on one side of the board and there are 6 monsters to choose from. They have a maximum hit point that they start the game with and all have a special ability. And I will show you the special abilities in a minute or at the end. But you choose one, you pick the dial of your color, the color you want, doesn't matter. So you set that to the same number as your monster. So in this case 12. And these are to keep track of your hit points. Your hit points can never go above the health of your monster. And the aim of the game is to get your opponent to lose his last life in order to win. Or you can win on one of the 2 tracks on the board. There's a fame track and a destruction track. During the game you can move this token alongside the track. If one of the tokens ever reaches the last spot on your side of the board, you automatically win and your opponent has lost. And doesn't matter which one of the tracks, this one also, if it reaches this spot, this player automatically wins. But as you can see, there are 3 spots over here, 3 spots over here and 3 spots over there that have searchlights on them or spotlights. If both tokens are in those zones on the same side of the board, that player also immediately wins. So that are the 3 conditions to win the game. But of course they start in the middle. You will lay all tokens ready. We have the energy cubes and we have the dice. There are 6 dice to throw with at the start of the turn. The starting player will be the player who will throw the most of the claw symbols. In case of a tie, you roll again. And the starting player will start the game using or throwing only 5 dice. After that, it's always 6 dice for your first roll. So when it's your turn, you simply roll all 6 dice. Then you can decide if you want to quit or if you want to do some rerolls. On your turn you may roll the dice up to 3 times and you can reroll any dice you don't want or didn't want. So what do the dice do? And if you've played King of Tokyo before, some will be familiar. This one will simply remove 1 life, 1 hit point from the opponent. So in this case, if I quit rolling now, this monster will take 2 damage. And you try to get it to 0 in order to win the game. Fortunately, you can also heal yourself by rolling these hearts. If you roll a heart, you will get 1 hit point back. But like I said, you can never have more hit points than the monster's maximum. And we have the energy symbols. For each energy symbol, you will get 1 energy cube. And this is the money for this game, because here there are always 3 cards available. And you can buy them simply by paying. After we finished with the dice phase, you can spend your energy to buy these cards. So this card will cost 5 energy. There are 2 types of cards. Cards you can keep. These will give you a benefit for the remainder of the game. Usually you can use them once per turn. In this case you can always re-roll your star symbols, even if you already rolled 3 times. Or this one costs only 2 energy. You keep it in front of you. And you get 1 energy cube for each die that you do not use in this turn. But there are also cards that say discard. When you buy this card for 3 energy, you immediately have to use it. And you can heal yourself for 3 hearts. Or in this case, your rival takes 2 damage. So on the top of the cards is the cost. However, the 3rd card in a row gets 1 energy discount. Then we have this destruction symbol. In order to move this token along the track of destruction, you have to throw at least 3 of those symbols. With these 3 symbols, you are allowed to move the token 1 space towards your own zone. For each additional symbol, you can do 1 additional movement. So in this case, I could move 1 because I have 3, but I have 2 extra, so 2 extra steps. And this token already is in the spotlight. And so there's also the symbol for the fame track. 3 of these will let you move the fame token 1 space towards you. And again, for extra additional stars, you can move additional spaces. And in this case, I would win because both of the markers are in my spotlight areas. And finally, we have these symbols, and they will activate the special powers of your monster. In this case, for Space Penguin, he will get 1 die token for each of these marks. However, you cannot have more than 2 of these symbols at any time. And these tokens you can use at the start of your next turn or a later turn. For each token you discard back to the supply, you will get an additional die to roll during this turn. So if you discard both, you can roll 8 dice this turn. But keep in mind, you are never allowed to have more than 2 of these tokens. So you roll the dice 3 times, you activate the dice, then you get to buy a card if you want. If you don't want to or you cannot afford a card in the row, then you will get 1 energy cube for free. You can use your energy cubes to buy cards, or you can pay if you have 2 energy cubes to get rid of all the cards in the row if you don't like them. And you will add 3 new cards, and then you can buy new cards straight away if you still have enough energy. When you buy a card, say I'll buy the one in the middle for 5, you will take it, the remaining card or remaining cards will slide to the right, and you will add a new card to the offer, and you can buy the new card right away. So you can buy as many cards as you want as long as you can pay the energy. And don't forget, this one has 1 discount. In this case, I can add 1 attack to my dice rolls for each of the 2 markers that is in a spotlight zone. So in this case, I would add 2 attack to my dice roll, so 2 damage to my opponent. Some cards will have an end of turn effect, so you can do something and then you will hand the dice to your opponent and that player will take the turn. There's just one more thing. Some or a lot of cards have these buzz tokens. At the moment you buy the card, so not even when you use it, but when you buy it, you will take the corresponding token from the supply. So in this case that is this token, and you can see it better on the back side of the token. And you can place it somewhere on the track, anywhere you want, as long as the space is empty. So there's not another token on it or the markers are not on that space. In this case, it's a positive thing to get a heart, so you'll put it on your side of the track, maybe on this one. And the next time I get to move the destruction token onto this space, I will heal 1 life. And this token will stay in place for the remainder of the game. So when the destruction token gets over here and my opponent gets to move the token back into his direction, also that player now will heal 1 life. There's also this token, and if you put that onto the track, you will remove 1 space. So you want to place this somewhere on your side. So you need less steps to get to the place that you want. Or you can hinder your opponent by playing one of these tokens if that is on a card, because this one will add another step, an additional step to the track, because now there are 3 spaces instead of 2. If the token moves onto a space containing 1 or 2 claws, that player will take 1 or 2 damage. You can heal, and there are spaces that will give you energy. And if you buy a card and the token is already in place, you are allowed to place it somewhere else. So you always try to place those tokens somewhere that benefits you or that will hurt the opponent. So that's the game. Rolling dice, dealing damage, trying to heal yourself, get energy tokens to buy cards that will help you, and you will try to move these markers onto your side of the board. If they're both in the spotlight zone, you will win the game, or if one of them reaches the end of the track in front of you, you immediately win the game. Or you win by knocking your opponent down to 0 lives. I'll show you the special abilities of all monsters. This one we already saw. For each of these symbols you will get 1 of the dice tokens. This monster lets you multiply the claws you roll with the number of these symbols. So if I roll 2 of them, you need at least to roll 2 of them to have some benefit. Normally now I would deal 3 damage to my opponent, but I can do it 2 times, so now it's 6 damage, and maybe if you roll it like this, you even do 9 damage. Whenever the king throws 2 of these symbols, you get to pick one of these, and these 2 tokens are only available to the king. And when one of the markers gets onto this space, movement immediately stops. So even if I had the opportunity to move this token 2 of 3 spaces, if my first step would be on this token, all further movement is lost. And that is only when it enters the space. When you start on the space, you are allowed to move the entire movement. Then we have Cyber Kitty. For 2 of these symbols, he will get 2 energy plus 2 extra energy if you roll a third one. For 2 of these symbols, the alienoid can add any symbol to your roll, so you get like a free dice with the symbol you want. And if you roll a third one, you can add this symbol again. But like this one and this one, if you want to have even another one, you need at least again to start with 2 and maybe add 1 more. And we have Gigazor, which is also nice. For 2 of these symbols, you get to move one of the tokens 1 space. So those are the monsters to choose from. And then of course there are many cards that will help you or hinder your opponent. Your rival takes 2 damage. When you buy this card, for the rest of the game, each turn you will add 1 attack to your rolls. Pull the destruction token 1 space. Pull the destruction token 3 spaces, and so on and so on. Take another turn. Each monster takes 5 damage, which is very nice if you have more than 5 lives left and your opponent doesn't. Or take 3 damage yourself, but you get to pull the destruction token 2 times, pull the Fame token 1 times, stuff like that. And that is how you play King of Tokyo Duel, a battle between 2 monsters, where you can win by knocking your opponent KO simply with the claw symbols, or you can try to win the game on the board using the Fame and or the destruction path. If you have any questions about this game, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. My name is David, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.